Hey folks, John Like Loon Outdoors. If you're looking at this video, you're probably looking at buying or trying to also figure out how to mount and install and wire a light bar for your ATV or maybe your side-by-side or some other toy. So, since this one's fresh in my mind, I did it a little while ago, I'm going to go over the methodology I used, how I did it, and hopefully it can help you out. So let's take a closer look. All right, so the machine that it's mounted on here is a 2018 Outlander Max. It's a limited with the 1000R engine. This is a Gen 2, but the methodology here and everything I'm going to talk about is going to be pretty applicable across any brand, year, model. It doesn't really matter. So first thing, let's talk about mounting. So regardless of the light bar kit you get, right, they're going to be pretty similar. Either the tails are going to be cut, or there may be a connector on the back. It may or may not have the mounts with it already, but let's take a closer look here and I'll show you kind of what I went with. All right, so I don't remember the brand of this, doesn't really matter. Regardless, so this one didn't come with the mount that goes to the bars here. It just came with the side plate and then some other mounting solution that requires you to drill a hole in your machine, which is not okay. Not going to do that. Don't do that. It's not necessary. Get a clamp style like this that mounts onto like the bumper or mounts onto here, something like that. Don't be drilling holes in your machine. It's not necessary. These things are going to fail at some point. Why would you want a hole that wasn't needed to be there? So, as you can see here, this is a simple clamp style. The Allen heads are on the back side. You can't really see them. And it allows you to mount through the top here. So you have your up and down adjustment here. Side plate allows that. It's got little teeth, keeps it from slipping on you once it's tightened down. It bolts through the mount, so it gives you a little bit of side-to-side wiggle. So you can kind of adjust the light once it's mounted a little bit each direction. And also because it clamps on the bar, it allows you to really kind of situate the light bar where you want it. So that goes the same for the light bar and for these auxiliary lights. Same style of clamp and bolt and stainless fasteners. Pretty straightforward there for the mounting. Now let's talk about beam direction. So any light bar you get, most of the time they're going to be straight, not curved. I was originally going to get a curve, but it was more money. I didn't care. This kit came with these auxiliary floodlights. So this actually gets what I want out of it. You've got your main light bar, and this one does have some floods on the ends, plus your spots to make it daylight in front of your machine, right? And then these auxiliary ones here, it's all wired in the same harness. But these auxiliary ones I've mounted on the side here, pointing to my right and my left. You can see my other one over there. And what this does is, say I'm coming up to an intersection on a trail or something and it's dark and I come to a complete stop, I can still see more than 180 degrees. So I can see all the way to my left and all the way to my right. I can see through the corner, and any signage that may be there, you can see it. So you can make a decision before you even get there because you can see what's happening. So having these side lights makes a massive difference for that trail riding experience. So make sure you think about that and consider it. You may or may not want it or need it, but I absolutely love having it. And then of course adjust your beam so you're not basically pointing at the ground or up in the sky. Just kind of get it in the right spot, and do that with the regular weight you would normally have them on the machine. Because you add weight, it's going to change the way lights point. So just regular things to consider there. All right, let's talk about wiring. Everybody loves wiring. Let's cover the important things first. So don't wire your light bars right into your high beam circuit to power the bar. You can overload your circuit that the regular lights are on, burn things out, melt wires. You don't want to do that. Make sure you get a wiring kit that includes a relay. Okay, so basically how it works is battery connects to the relay, relay connects to the lights. And normally there's also a switch, this stupid switch that comes with these things that requires you to drill a hole in your machine and mount the switch in that hole. And switches fail, and I don't like them. So what you can do instead is, I'll explain it in a minute, I'll show you. But this wire here, this used to be a switch. I cut it, I put waterproof connectors on and then wrapped it in tape just to make sure nothing touches anything it shouldn't be. For my unused wires here, because it was a lighted switch that came with this kit. That's why there's extra wires. This blue wire here, which has a waterproof connector on it, that is connected into my high beam switch. So how that works is, up here, you're riding along, you're on low, and you go, okay, I want my high beam. So you turn the high beams on, and what that does is that jumper, the power from the high beam circuit, turns the relay on like a light switch, right? And that allows the power from the battery to then go to the lights up front. So you're not pulling power from the high beams to power the lights. What you're doing is you're pulling the power from the high beams to tell it to turn the lights on with that electricity. That way you're not pulling too much power from your high beam circuit, you're not melting wires, none of that. And it's wired into a switch that already exists on your machine, that when you turn on the high beams, you're gonna want those big bright lights anyway. So less switches, no holes in your machine, keep it clean. Let's take a little closer look on how I ran this. All right, so this may be a lot to look at for the first time, but simply inline fuse from the battery goes to the relay. This red wire here is the one that's going to tie into my high beam switch. I'll show you up front. One of these two black wires is for the side lights, and one of the other black wires is for the middle light bar. So I have those together. I like my stuff being neat and clean and in a place that's not going to pinch. So I have it running down through here, behind the molding, up inside of here, and kind of following the inside of this. Goes down along the CVT intake on the back side of here, and kind of goes down into the engine. Now these panels pop off. I don't need to pop this panel off to do it. Just this guy. And I also removed this guy up here, so I could see down in there. So it runs down into here. Now, because I have the radiator relocation kit, I've got a nice big hole coming up through there where I can route my wires underneath this rack. And I don't know if you can see it, but this is my side. You can kind of see it in there. Waterproof connectors, snap them together. That's for the side light, or the main light. The side lights go into the cavity where the radiator used to sit. So since there's nothing in there anymore, there's all kinds of places to tie off to get it up out of the way and in a safe location. So really easy to do there. All right, it's a little harder to see. So this is that red wire that tells the relay to turn on to give electricity to the lights. So this is the high beam bulb right here, and I simply spliced into it with an inline splice. I know people hate those, but sometimes it's just what you got to work with. Now, when you do it, you're going to want to waterproof it, especially because of the location it's in. I used a rubberized, like a rubberized glue. It's flexible and it seals, and I filled the whole thing in everywhere there's wire in both ends of the plug. So the entire thing is actually encased in that rubberized waterproof glue. So it can get wet, it can get dirty, but another important consideration is not to put this splice too close to the light, and try to bring it up a little bit. That way when it does, if it does fail, you can cut it out and redo it if you need to. So not a big deal, but if your lights for some reason don't work, it is going to be most likely be this plug here. So waterproof that the best you can. There's other methods in using an inline splice, but I just did what I had to do. So there are better ways to do this, but this is a method. So that pretty much sums it up. Don't drill holes in your machine you don't need. Wire things in directly into your high beam switch if you can, if that's something you want. Keep your wire routing clean and out of the way of pinch points. And waterproof any connections that you will have to help keep it from failing and improve the service life of what you install. So any questions, anything you want to dig deeper in, just shoot me a line. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for watching this video.